You want one number. How many calories to eat to lose weight? So you fill in a calculator, then you fill in a second one to check. Here is a real case. 32 years old, 70 kilos, 165 centimeters tall. The first calculator says 1,690. The second says 2,290. 600 calories apart. Same person, same afternoon. And they are not using rival science. Almost every calculator on the internet runs one of about 4 equations, and on this woman, those equations agree with each other to within 70 calories. So the 600 is coming from somewhere else, somewhere nobody calculates at all, because you are the one being asked to guess it. The thing you are hunting has a name. Total daily energy expenditure, everything your body spends in a day. 60 to 70% of it is your resting rate, being alive with the lights on, heart, brain, kidneys, liver, and the constant repair of everything else. Another 10% or so is digestion, breaking food down and storing it costs energy. The rest is movement, and most of that is not exercise. Standing, walking, carrying, fidgeting. Exercise is usually the smallest slice on the chart and the one the calculator asks you about first. Start with the resting rate, because that is the part that can actually be predicted. The equation nearly every calculator uses was published in 1990 by Mifflin St Jeor. 4 inputs, and not one of them is your discipline. Weight in kilos times 10, height in centimeters times 6.25, age times 5, taken off, then plus 5 for a man, minus 161 for a woman. For our 70-kilo woman, 1,410 calories a day. That is lying still in a warm room, eating nothing. It is a prediction, not a measurement. Checked against people in a metabolic lab, it lands within 10% of the real figure for about 4 in 5 people who are not obese, and 7 in 10 who are. So before anybody has said the word exercise, there is already a band of roughly 140 calories sitting around this number. Now the second number, and this is where the damage happens. To get from resting to total, the calculator multiplies. Sedentary, 1.2. Lightly active, 1.375. Moderately active, 1.55. Same woman, same equation, 1 drop down. Sedentary gives 1,690. Moderately active gives 2,190. 500 calories a day, decided by which word you thought described you. And almost nobody knows which word they are, because that one word is carrying your job, your commute, your stairs, and your training. So take the lower of the two you were choosing between. Overestimating activity is close to universal. Our woman is lightly active, so her maintenance is 1,940 calories a day. To lose fat, she has to eat under that. The only question left is how far under. The internet says 500 a day. There is a reason. 500 a day is 3,500 a week, and 3,500 calories is roughly the energy in a pound of body fat. But look at what a flat 500 does to her. It is a 26% cut. The same 500 off a heavier man's 2,500 is 20%. Identical advice, much harder diet, and the smaller person is the one usually handed it. So set the deficit as a share, not a fixed number. 15 to 25% under maintenance. 20% puts her at 1,550 calories a day and about 1/3 of a kilo a week. That is the answer. Now the part no calculator can tell you. That number is only true for the body you have this month. A smaller body is cheaper to run. Every kilo you lose takes your maintenance down with it, so the gap closes underneath you while you are still eating exactly what you were told to. Taken literally, the 3,500 rule says you lose weight in a straight line forever. Nobody in the history of dieting has done that. In 2011, Kevin Hall's group at the National Institutes of Health published the arithmetic that replaces it. 10 calories a day permanently moves your body weight by about a pound. Half of it arrives inside a year, almost all of it within 3. Not a line going down, a curve that flattens. Which means the number the calculator gave you is not a prescription. It is a starting hypothesis. It came out of an equation with a 10% error bar multiplied by a word you picked about yourself. You do not fix that with a better calculator. You fix it with 2 weeks. Eat the number. Weigh yourself in the same state most mornings. Then put the average of the second week against the average of the first, because any single morning is mostly water. If the average has not moved, the estimate was too high. Take about 100 a day off and run another fortnight. That loop is the entire method. All of which rests on one thing, that what you ate got written down. And the evidence there is unkind. People certain they were eating around 1,000 calories a day have been measured in a lab at over 2,000. That is not lying. Nobody can eyeball a portion, and the easiest things to forget are the dense ones. Oil in the pan, what you ate standing up. So Nutrio runs those same 4 inputs to get your number, and then you photograph the meal instead of looking anything up. Calories, protein, carbs and fat on the screen next to what is left of the day. Not so an app can tell you what to eat, so that the number you are testing is a real one. So, the whole video has 5 instructions. 1. Get your resting rate out of the Mifflin St Jeor equation. 2. Multiply by an activity level and choose the lower one. 3. Take 15 to 25% off that, not a flat 500. 4. Eat it for 2 weeks and weigh the weeks against each other rather than the days. 5. When the loss stops, take another 100 a day off. Your maintenance moved because you did. Nutrio is free to start on iPhone and Android. It does the calculation, then it does the counting.